welcome back to Homestead Corner. Today I have got 10 items that I buy every single month to put into our prepper pantry. You all know I think it is so important to have your pantry stocked right full. There are so many reasons to have a full pantry. If you get sick, you lose your job, lots of things could happen. If your refrigerator broke down and you don't have a big savings to be able to purchase a new refrigerator, you may have to take it all out of one check. And we have been there before, had the car breakdown and wiped out all of our food money for that pay period. So when you're living paycheck to paycheck, it's really difficult if something big comes up. So having that pantry as a buffer is really, really important. We want to make sure that if anything happens and we can't go to the grocery store, if there's some kind of emergency, or if we just have something break down at home and we just don't have the cash, we want to make sure that we have the food we need in our pantries. So these are just 10 things that we like to purchase every single month to make sure that our pantry is full and we're keeping everything rotated. The first thing is sweeteners. Whatever kind of sweetener you like, sugar, honey, monk fruit, whatever it is, stevia. I think those are important, especially if you enjoy them. If you normally go without sweeteners, that's definitely something you could skip. But, you know, especially having kids, I think my kids love a little sweet treat here and there. We try to limit it, but we do like to have it. I like some cake too. You never know. You want to make sure you have what you need. The second thing I purchase every single month is seasonings. And, you know, salt, pepper, your regular, whatever it is that you like, curry powder. We also include in that seasonings sauces and things like that to add flavor to our meals. Seasonings are so important, especially when you're pulling from your pantry, because a lot of the foods are quite bland all on their own. Canned chicken doesn't have a whole lot of flavor, but you can put it with other stuff, add tons of seasoning to it, and really dress it up. Lots of things like that, your beans, your rice, all those, they really need some seasoning to help them. And it'll help you with food fatigue and mixing your meals up so it's not the same thing every day. Nobody wants to eat the same thing every day. Number 3, peanut butter. Peanut butter is another one of those things that we buy every single month. I think it is a great protein and it can be used in so many different ways in your pantry. You can cook with it, you can eat it by the spoonful, make sandwiches, make treats with it, all sorts of stuff. My kids just love to dip apples in it and things like that, and it's really good for them. So I always make sure we have plenty of peanut butter in the pantry. And in an emergency, it's a quick, easy protein that you can have in there. And peanut butter lasts quite a long time. Number 4, canned meats. We love keeping a bunch of canned meats in the pantry, whether it's fish, chicken, beef. Some we purchase in the cans from the store, some we purchase and we can it ourselves because we prefer it that way. Whatever way works, and we do both because that's what works for our family. The next thing is canned fruits and vegetables. Those, again, you want to make sure you have as big of a variety as possible. We try to grow as much as we can, but we don't grow enough for the whole entire year. And some things I just can't grow because our season isn't long enough or it's not hot enough. We have issues with gardening sometimes. Everybody does. So we do the best we can with what we have, and then we stock up on those other things so we can have a bigger variety. And along with the canned, also freeze-dried foods, your meats and your fruits and veggies, that's another way to go as well. If you're dehydrating, but making sure we're getting those into the pantry every single month to increase our stockpile. And number 6, instant meals. Those type of things are really important when an emergency happens. It's really nice to be able to just whip something open and eat it. If you can heat it up, that's wonderful. Like those little cans of Chef Boyardee type thing, or beanies and weenies, or soups, or anything like that. Heating them up, you can heat them up really quick on a fire, on a wood stove, on a kitchen stove, whatever you have available. And in those events that you can't heat it up, you can just crack those babies open and eat them, which again is wonderful. You want to have some of those instant foods that you can just bust open. Number 7, cereals and crackers. They're definitely not something that you have to have for a huge long period of time, but those kind of things are really nice if you're used to eating them in an emergency, or when you can't go to the grocery store, if you don't have money for the grocery store. It is really nice to have some normalcy in your food, especially if you have children, older adults in your home. A lot of times we can deal with things a lot easier than other members of our family. Sometimes we have kids that just don't deal with change that well, and making sure we have those items, so even if it's sparingly used, it's something that's normal for them and they can still continue to have it when you can't get it. Number 8, rice, pasta, beans, lentils. You guys know, I think those are so important. Those are your true long-term emergency foods. We are always adding to that in our pantry and making sure we have a decent supply. You want to make sure you have enough for everybody in your home. And even if it's something that you don't eat all the time, in a long-term disaster, you're going to want to have those, especially the beans and rice and the lentils. They cook up so much faster than the beans, and you can still season them just like the beans. Most people wouldn't even know. We really love lentils because you can just add anything to them. They don't have much flavor on their own, but whatever you add to it is really going to give it the good flavor. So having, the rice, pasta, beans, lentils, those are really important, and I always try to get those when I go to the grocery store. Even if I just run in for a couple things, sometimes I will just grab an extra bag of beans or an extra bag of rice just because I can, and make sure that I have it in the pantry. And number 9, coffee, tea, and like water, flavorings, things like that. Those type of things, you want to have plenty of that in your pantry. I would definitely be in rare form if I couldn't have my coffee. I don't drink as much as I used to drink, but still I need it in the morning to get me going. I love my coffee. It's my quiet little happy time in the morning. And even in a long-term situation, I may not be able to have my everyday coffee, but having some instant coffee for those times when you don't have your regular coffee, I think are really important. It's not my favorite coffee, but I keep both in the pantry just in case, because you never know. And I want my coffee. I need it. And I love to drink teas at night on cold days, things like that. So we keep a good variety of teas, and teas can be very medicinal also. You want to have a good variety of teas in your pantry. And number 10, oils and fats. Those are so important for your diet. A lot of times we don't think about them. A lot of people hear fats, they're not good for you. You know, they're not going to make you fat. That's not actually what they do. But having those fats, it is really good for your body to have those, and making sure you have them. And it makes your food taste so much better. If you do not have any kind of cooking oils or fats or anything like that, the food, it just isn't right. It needs those fats to give it that flavor and smoothness, and it's just, we love making sure we have plenty of that. And we keep a bunch of different kinds. I may buy vegetable oil one month, I may buy olive oil another month, or we buy random oils. I like to keep sesame oil, avocado oil, lard. We like all those things in the pantry because it's nice when you have a variety, and you want to make sure, especially if the grid goes down, you want to make sure you've got some oils that are high smoke point, because cooking out on an open fire is definitely a lot different than cooking inside on your gas or electric stove. It's not as easy to adjust the temperature, and you definitely want to have a higher smoke point oil. So having those in your pantry is really important. And that is it for my 10 things that I buy every single month for the pantry. I think making sure your pantry is super full is so important, especially in these uncertain times that we're in. We don't know what's going to happen, but we need to be ready when something does happen. And if you have anything that you purchase every single month for your prepper pantry, put it in the comments down below. It's really helpful for other people. They may be able to find something new that they haven't thought of, or, you know, something they just forgot and they don't have in their pantry. So those comments down below, everyone is so helpful, and I think it is so great that there's such a good community and everyone is willing to share. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!